Yella's been everywhere. Yella's been everywhere. He was on VladTV this week. And, of course, World Class Wrecking Crew came up. So I definitely had a couple of questions. Would love to talk about Yella. I know we talked about him, a couple of weeks ago, but, so many questions. He's one of the ones that we didn't really discuss, too much throughout the past couple of years. But he was on VladTV and he talked about joining World Class Wrecking Crew. He discussed how you guys were enemies with Uncle Jam's Army. Now, was it more like a friendly competition type of thing, or was there some real serious beef underneath?
People gotta understand. Me and Roger always, rest in peace, Roger. Me and Roger, we started off together. I was his DJ at Alpine Village before they became Uncle Jam's Army. We worked at the same record place together. My last job was working with him. Okay. We both started promoting around the. Well, he started promoting house parties first. I started doing dances right behind that. When I at one time I had asked Roger to be a partner in Eve After Dark, he turned it down. And shortly after that, the Eve blew up. He came back trying to get a spot. Like, dude, I don't need you. I don't need you. What I need you for? And if you have to understand, Roger, when you turn him down, he automatically becomes your enemy. Okay. And we went back and forth for years, going back with each other. And we weren't really enemies per se. We still would talk and communicate. If he had something I could use, he called me up. Hey, man, I got something you could use. And sometimes vice versa. But when it came to promotions, it came to parties, our crews had more of a vendetta than we did. Okay, I would go off. I would F Uncle Jam's Army, snatch all their posters, and because sometimes they'd be in violation, and they knew they would be in violation, but they would try it anyway. He'd have some new cats doing some stuff, and that was always one of his things. He had a lot of different people working for him. I had the same guys most of the time: Yella, Dre, Wendell, rest his soul; Eric, rest his soul; Charles, an unknown. We all rolled the Eve till the wheels fall off. So, and Fat. And so my guys were pretty stable in our routes, our territories. And because he had different guys coming in, they come in trying to be gunslingers. No. So we had our issues. Me and Roger never had a fight. Okay. We got each other's faces a couple of times, but we never had a fight. But our crews would get into it in the streets because, wrecking crew, Uncle Jam's Army. And that was just their thing. But most of the time we talked them down. It was never that serious. We have whooped cat. We have put hands on people. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't Uncle Jam's Army.
Okay. And he did tell a story about he was hanging up some flyers over the Uncle Jam's Army flyers or around them or something, and they walked up on him and his boy who was 6'7", and basically there was a little standoff. But you talked about violation, like talk about some of the violations that would happen, flyers and the ethics and how all that was in play back then.
Well, probably the biggest violation you could have back then as a promoter would to either snatch or cover somebody's posters up on the event that had not happened yet. Posters at one time started off being like 50 cents a piece. Then they got to be like $1 a piece. And by the time you put the nails, put a crew out there, you're talking about almost $2 a poster to hang out, and you got 300 of them to hang. Okay, so you got as a promoter, I probably invested $400 or $500 in my posters, plus another $200 or $300 to get them hung up. Okay, another $200 or $300 to get my boys. You had to take care of your people, plus gas and everything a little bit cheaper, but still. So you got $500-$600 invested in a poster hang, and I did mine every week. And I had custom made posters, I had custom colored posters, and I had a territory from Slauson to Alondra, Crenshaw to Long Beach Boulevard was kind of our territory. Now, that's because the Eve After Dark was pretty much stationary. Uncle Jam's army moved around a lot. So if they was on Crenshaw, they might go under us or go over us. And usually, because we were probably the most popular promoters, we had a understanding either go over or under. And sometimes you get a new guy, he just want to go. Let's say over. I mean over the top or under the bottom. Okay, the middle of the pole is the prime spot. That's where the cars see your posters at. Anything else you got to look down or look up at. So if you had a rookie out there who was trying to impress the boss, he might cover up your posters, and then my guys would tear him down. And if I got really pissed, I sent a headhunter out and bring me everything off the poles. Everything. I don't want nobody on the pole but us. And that's how Yella got into the game, because I sent him out and he came back not only with promoters posters, he came back with houses for rent, lost dogs. Have you seen this kid? Have you seen this dog? You know, and it was like his first time. He had a trunk full of posters. My bounty was 25 cents a poster. So he kind of hustled me, but I ain't mad because it showed he had, I didn't tell him what not to bring. I said bring all the posters. I'm thinking dance party posters. He just grabbed everything off the posters. So, and I have that for it, so he stuck around from that point on.
And Yella was around a couple years before Dre even came into the picture, right?
Yeah, Yella came in right after the club, almost maybe about 6-7 months after the club opened. Dr. Rock, one of my main DJs, he left suddenly, and then Yella was already around, hanging out, checking out Dr. Rock. So I was actually the main DJ, and because I started getting busy at the club, doing different things, collecting money, counting money, I gave Rock my slot, and then Yella took Rock's slot when he came in because Unknown ran the bar. So that was kind of the transition. And every once in a while, like I tell him, because I had the most experience part with doing parties, every once in a while they get stuck. And I had to go in there like a relief pitcher, tap them on the shoulder. I got it for a minute. And, because sometimes DJs get stuck. A lot of guys can't play for 2 hours, or they can play themselves out in 2 hours, and they don't know where to go next. And that's where I came in at. So, he came into the slot because Dr. Rock had it first, and he kind of slid into the slot, but I couldn't get him to talk that much. He wouldn't. Dr. Rock was a mouthpiece like I am. Yella, he was all right, but he wasn't as verbal as I like my guys to be.
Okay. Now I want your opinion on something. As a kid, I remember there was some level of fear to N.W.A. I always thought, if I ever crossed Ice Cube wrong, he'd kick my ass, he'd shoot me. MC Ren, if I ever crossed him, man, he'd body slam me, he'd shoot me. Eazy-E would do the same thing. But one person that never gave me that, quote, fear, and keep in mind, I'm talking 10, 11-year-old me, was Yella. And I'm not dissing him because he was a very important part. But why do you think, or how do you think he became a member of N.W.A.? Is it because Dre saw he was so talented that he didn't want to lose him to someone else?
Dre and Yella was Ace Cool, and they was Wrecking Crew. They was like inseparable. When I send Yella off to do a gig, sometimes we take Dre with him, or I had to make Dre stay behind so he can DJ. And they ran together outside the club. They would have contests. They go to the hotel, go half on the hotel room, see how many girls they can screw in 1 week before the bill come up. They had a lot in common. They both loved chasing women. And although Yella's older, he was just as wild as Dre was. And I guess when they decided to make a move, Dre was making music, and Yella just felt it might be the best move for him. I can't really speak on that too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what was his talent more? Was it more on the DJ side or the drum side, or equally both?
And scratching, drum programming, and running the board. He would run the board. He would knock out some beats. He would knock out track, chords or whatever. Like he said, we was all back then. We had the sequencer, so we had to do was play it by one finger or figure it out as we go, and because the sequencer did most of the work. So, and he was a pretty good engineer as well.
Okay. Yeah, he said something that struck me as well. He said that when you're DJing, sometimes you get into this zone and it's almost this spiritual feeling when the crowd's rocking to every, hit that you're playing. And he said it's almost, talk to me about that comment. And is that something that you've experienced yourself as a DJ?
Man, that's why I don't play young sets. I play a club right now, man. Not because I have to, because I love doing it. Okay? Mm-hmm. Dude, I play a 50 and older club, okay? And there's no more satisfaction to me to somebody when you get to play that right song and about 5 people look at you, where you find that at? And they get that smile like, yeah, boy. Or you see the crowd just start feeling what you're doing and they singing and dancing and having a good time. It's like R. Kelly said, it's such a great feeling. And it's a sense of power, man. It's a sense of power. I mean, I hadn't played regularly since the pandemic. I was playing at the Townhouse here in LA. I would relieve the jock from time to time, maybe twice a month. And first of all, let me say this. That's my first entertainment love, okay? Like some people like to sing. You got singers singing till they can't talk no more. Mm-hmm. I love DJing, okay? I love DJing for crowds that I can relate to. I can't relate to every crowd. I'm not gonna go out there and try to compete with none of these young cats scratching the elbow. No, ain't what I do. But what I do, I provide the soundtrack for the evening. From the first song to the last song, it's a purpose. It's a purpose for me playing that song. And most cats don't understand it. I was trained in radio. Okay, as fresh out of high school, I was trained in radio how to program a radio station. So I took that same skill, how to program a party, and we're doing this since I was 19 years old. And I didn't have a lot of records. Okay, so you learn from the School of Hard Knocks how to keep people interested without boring them, without being too redundant. What makes people tick? Sometimes they dance. Sometimes they just want to sit there and sing. Sometimes they just want to sit there and bob their heads and think and reminisce on the time they was having doing that song was hot, especially when you're dealing with an older crowd. There's some songs that you can play, people start crying. People start crying. Yeah. So as a young dude, 14 years old, going to Compton Park, yes, Compton Park in Compton, I used to go to dances all the time. And this dude named Hunter Hancock, Boss Tom Cross, and another brother works on KJLH right to this day. Were always the DJs at the radio, at the sock hops. And I saw the kind of power that DJs had. DJs have a lot of power. Most cats don't understand the power of music. Once you understand the power of music and the power that you have as a DJ, how you can literally control the crowd. You can stop a fight. You can start a fight. You play enough of the wrong shit. And that's something I've learned. And as I've gotten older, I hear people complaining all the time about not having no place to go and nobody wants to be around. If older women don't want to be around a bunch of women twerking with a better body, no. You got some cutie pies out there, half naked. You can't get your swerve on. You can't meet nobody nice because you got too much competition. He don't want to do nothing with it, but they're gonna buy him drinks, blah blah blah. They're gonna milk him. By the time it's over, everybody gonna go home, gonna get pissed off. But to have a venue where I'm at now, the French Quarters, where it caters to people 50 and over, and to say 50 and over sounds crazy, but 50 is a new 30. You know what I'm saying? So if you 50 and you still like playing, when you're 50 years old, you can appreciate the 70s, you appreciate the 80s, you appreciate the 90s, and the new millennium with a touch of the new stuff as well. So that's the power. You have a much more vast appreciation of music because you've got more to deal with. So if I play something from the 80s, it probably was in high school. Okay? If I'm playing something from the 70s, that might be something their mama played at their house. Maybe thinking about their daddy. That's my daddy's favorite song. And this is that's how you get emotions, get people involved with you emotionally. And you play something from the 90s or the early 2000s, like the P.D. Pablo. They still had it going on. What, 20 years ago? They were 30 then. So they still, their mind is going back when they were 30. So they do different things. So I talk about music. I have to calm myself down because I'm real passionate about it. So even at 50, you got a whole history of music that a DJ that knows what he's doing can play for you to help you reminisce, have a good time, and was probably the key part to all of this. The music was better.
There it is, 100%.
The music dictated good feelings, fun, love, just doing something different. It wasn't about killing and shooting and stabbing. And even when I play some gangster rap, I'm playing Biggie, Tupac, going back to Cali, nothing but a gangster party. And you got some old OGs in there. They do their little thing, and then they cha-cha a few minutes later. So you don't get stuck on one vibe, and that's the beauty of playing for older folks. You got so many vibes you can roll with, and not be stuck in trying to impress people with your scratching. And I ain't never scratched nothing on the record but my ass. I never had to, because I realized that with older people, that first 4 or 5 seconds of the record, like the Ozzy Brothers, For the Love of You, that that guitar part, that's key. Same thing with Frankie Beverly and Maze before I let go. That dun dun dun, you can't scratch that.
Yeah.
Unless you want to get slapped. Okay, so that's just my musical rant for right now. Don't get me started with music, man.
Music is my number one love. And if I may, while we're talking about music, I want to let the audience know about something that I have going on that Alonzo and I were talking about behind the scenes. I have a album coming out with a group, and I know I'm an old guy, hear me out, but it's going to a good cause. It's a peaceful hip hop album. It's a good vibe album. It definitely will take you back to the 90s. And the good thing about it is 25% of the proceeds are going to go towards Hood Peace. So I am going to keep you guys posted on that. Go to my channel, Dusty Vision TV. And I don't ask people to, support me, or, all I ask is hit the like button, but I'm asking if you could support me on this. There will be more information coming out shortly, but it's going to be an August 16th release date, and we're going to have pre-orders and all that. So go to Dusty Vision TV and please check that out. 25% of the proceeds are going to go towards Hood Peace.
And Hood Peace is part of my nonprofit, the Lyrical Revolution. I mean, that's my other thing, Lyrical Revolution. I realize lyrics are very powerful, and you wonder why people are in the mindset they are. They're being programmed every day. Kill, shoot, fuck, bitch, oh. They being programmed to this. And I know people, that's no. It's a part of it. It's a part of it. It's not everything. It's not one thing. I was watching this Will Smith movie the other day when he was a gambler, and what was it called? Called Focus.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
And the movie was called Focus. And there was one scene in the movie where Will Smith was randomly betting this guy, this Asian guy, it got to be millions and millions of dollars, okay? And what they had done over a period of time, they had literally programmed this guy's mind indirectly or directly to pick a number that he thought was random, okay? Number was 56. He kept hearing this word in the streets. He kept seeing the number. His apartment number was 56. He saw this guy on the field wearing this number, and there was no way Will could have cheated. But because of the programming of this guy's mind, he picked 56 after Will and them had all been telling him subliminally to pick 56. I think it was like $5 or $10 million he got the guy for. And basically, that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a lot of subliminal programming that you don't even realize. I saw a post on Facebook, and it had a picture of Times Square in New York, and showed all the different advertisements. Then they showed a picture below that, all the advertising stripped away, and it said buy, consume, and that's basically what you're being programmed to buy stuff. And that's why my channel ain't that probably that popular, because they don't y'all talking about this kind of shit. Because if you realize how you being programmed, your ass ain't you ain't valuable as they want you to be.